I wanted to share three quick things that stand out to me after looking at hundreds of Facebook streams over the last couple months. And these are three things that I think you need to stay away from. First off, number one, it's there's too many streams. Really, churches need to simplify and really embrace a scarcity type of approach with their streaming. It's not about getting it to your people every single time that you offer in-person services. It's about really offering a really nice service. And so some churches I've noticed are, maybe they had 5 services on the weekend and they're streaming every single one of those on Facebook and YouTube and potentially on your website. Well, on Facebook and YouTube, it looks like duplicate content and it looks confusing. And really on Facebook, they don't really prioritize it with the algorithm to kind of be a good experience. On Facebook, you kind of divide up the audience. So if you had 500 people maybe watching at a single stream, now you divide that up against 5 different streams. You might have 100. And there's a power in having 500 people watching one stream versus 100 watching 5 streams. Same thing with YouTube. You divide it up. It's less compelling. There's something about having a bunch of people together. And then also, as you move back to in-person, you need to talk about the scarcity type of strategy where you're still offering things online, but you're giving them a reason to show up in person. So I've really been encouraging churches to go down to one stream, maybe 2 on 2 different days, but don't duplicate the things like one after another. Think of streaming on Facebook particular as like a ripple effect. Once you have one stream out there, once you launch another stream, you're stopping the ripple effect. So let's say you have a service at 9 and then 11, you're stopping that 9 o'clock once you go streaming at 11, kind of the viralness. Number 2, there's too much mess. They're streaming services and you have a messy stage. Maybe there's clutter, there's wires in weird places, there's angles that you're embracing. You're trying to go from one camera to 2 and there's like these weird angles of like, what do you know that's on camera right now? And some people in the front row don't realize they're actually in the shot. The lighting looks weird. You have different types of lighting. You have warm light, bright light. There might be, stuff doesn't look unified. And so different people are coming in. You're using stuff pre-shot, maybe live, and the colors don't match. And really, you just need to clean things up. You need to simplify the experience and make sure it all works together. Instead of making things more complex, just have one shot and have that done right. Make sure your audio sounds good. Understand that people are making judgments about your church through these experiences. So don't make it better or don't advance, the experience if you can't guarantee quality. And so simplifying the experience and making it clean and professional is a lot easier if you have one shot and you kind of control the angle. But there's just too much going on and there's a mess. Specifically things in the backdrop. People don't realize like you can see everything. So just spending time kind of thinking about what's kind of in the frame. Third, there are too many things mentioned throughout the stream. And really, you're telling your people to do all sorts of things. And there's something powerful about unifying next steps and unifying the theme of the service. So from start to end, there's one approach. So you're telling them to go here, do this, sign up there, do that, text here, DM here, or talk to this person, or hang out afterwards in the Zoom thing. Really try to make 1 or 2 big things. And so usually that comes around through next step languages. Really thinking through how do people who are watching on the stream, how do they take a next step? And so just text this number or email us here and just talk about that, pre-service, post-service, during the service, have pop-ups during the service when the pastor says it or the host says it. So it's very clear. When the service ends, instead of just going to a black screen, have a hold graphic with next step information. But just keep things simple. It doesn't need to be all these things going on, but have next step language repetitive throughout the service and super simple. And on top of that, have somebody that is on top of it that's going to be responding to that right afterwards so it's timely as well. Bonus 1, figure out ways for people to dive deep into your church beyond just the stream. I think this is a big mess right now where you're really good at pushing out your content, but you got to think through how can people in a very curious way and very non-invasive way experience what your church is about. Moving them from a watcher to somebody who belongs to your church. How can they do that in an online way? Before you do anything important, like buying a car or finding a babysitter or picking a school or spending anything over $100, you want to do a deep dive. And this is where your church can offer maybe a class or a course, or maybe it's a Zoom thing once a month where they can get to know you. It could be live where you just kind of teach something about your church, your values, safety protocols in COVID. It could be something on demand where you're using a platform like Thinkific or Teachable, but provide some space where they can get to know who you are about. So think beyond just pushing out your content, but somewhere where they can have a relational connection. It's really powerful if the senior pastor or maybe a first impressions pastor or even the online pastor can teach this, and they can do kind of a meet and greet type of experience. And so, too many streams going on. That's something I've noticed. There's too much mess. Just really simplify the experience. And there's too many things mentioned throughout the stream. And plus, the bonus thing, offer some kind of way for your streamers to kind of move from watchers to somebody who belong through a course or maybe a Zoom thing once a month. Those are some of the things I've noticed after watching hundreds of streams and things over the last couple months.